We'll call the meeting to order with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we got a light agenda today. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approve the previous minutes from the board meeting of March 5th. Everybody's had a chance to read those. Is there any additions or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public comment. We have someone that's
The 450 number.
4590125. Is that it?
This is Tess calling
Oh.
in.
Okay.
Thank you. No
Right.
public comment.
If there's no public comments, appointments, well, there is none. Consent agenda. We have 3 items on the consent agenda. Item number 1, change the status of Patricia Crowell's employment from temporary casual 67-day transport officer to temporary casual 67-day jailer dispatcher. The hourly rate of $23.19. Number 2, confirm and accept the resignation of Susan Wheatgriff, probationary 0.5 FTE, deputy auditor, treasurer, license center, effective 3/11. Approve a competitive search for that position. Any questions on the consent?
I see none. I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Is
Further discussion?
the question on the status change for Patricia Crowe?
Yep.
To a jailer dispatcher, is that to maintain staffing levels?
Tess, you want to explain that one, how that works?
Yes, right now we, as you know, the jail administrator, Dean Ott, has resigned a bit ago, and his duties are being divided up by the existing jailer dispatchers. Ms. Crowell has experience as a jailer dispatcher, and I believe she's currently doing dispatch for Fillmore County. So as those other duties are being spread across staff, the sheriff would like to use Ms. Crowell on an as-needed basis to staff the dispatch center.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Action item number 1. Consider accepting donations to Extension Testmer a Farm Safety Day for a total of $2,075. Jennifer, I don't know if she's on. She probably isn't.
No, I don't.
But this is something that happens. They get donations for this Farm Safety Day, and so I think it's a good thing, and we should accept. So is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Go on to discussion items, board updates. We had land use meeting this morning. I see Bob, you took some notes. I'll let you fill us in on what was all discussed. I just wanted to point out that next week at workshop, Ryan is gonna have DOT to come and talk about some of the projects that are gonna happen through the Crescent. So just to give you guys a heads up on that.
That's at the work group next week?
Yep. I have nothing else to share. So,
Okay,
do we?
well, last week after our regular meeting, we had a Parks Committee meeting. We're finalizing a contract for a park manager for Wildcat. In fact, it's being reviewed right now by county attorney, so we should have something by our 26th meeting, hopefully, to yay or nay it. That same day, I had a public health committee, and the main thing I got out of that was the encouraging of water testing, continuing on. Water program is quite the highlight right now. Commented about maintaining vaccinations. That's we've had a uptick of a lot of cough deals. Some of them are just RSV, some of them are other. So there's a little comment on that. Otherwise, it was pretty much the usual person from okay, where is she from? AmeriCorps discussed some things too. So he's on staff. Thursday, I went to Rochester for a workforce meeting. Highlights there, of course, with annual audit. This is the first meeting of the year with that group. Childcare training programs. Of course, we all know childcare affects employment, so there's going to be some advantages there. Also, the main thing I got out of that one was a lady who's involved with workforce training, which helps the employer pay for benefits and wages during the training period. And he reiterated that it's also available for public groups in cities or counties. So perhaps we can forward this to Tess, maybe she has it already, but a contact for assistance while you're training. This is a side note, several years ago, back last century, I utilized this program to teach a truck driver. And after he left my employment, he logged 2 million miles. So it's a benefit to a person needing a job, and it's a benefit to the employer. So that's, I just want to highlight that. Yesterday, I was at a WinLAC meeting in Winona. Updates with the bylaws, really no changes, but the point that I want to bring back here is that we granted $35,000 to City of La Crescent for engineering and design along the Pine Creek, which affects Bob's area. They are going to be doing a restoration program. They got $500,000 for restoring Pine Creek along the edge of the golf course, basically as a landmark. And but it did not include engineering. So the WinLAC group felt that it'd be beneficial to get the engineering done, so they get it done this year instead of down the road. Pine Creek is on schedule for 2029 to have the whole length of Pine Creek updated, or what do you want to call, rip-wrapped or improved on. So that's in the plan.
Stream
bank restorations.
All through Houston County.
On Pine Creek, yeah.
Not just by the golf course, but all the way.
This is the beginning of this. This would have been in the 2029, but because the city got the grant this far in advance, that section can be done now. So upstream from the golf course will be in by 2029, and downstream is going to be done at the same era. It's a multi-million-dollar project, and they're doing it in steps and planning. That's where that came from. See, this morning we had a community service meeting. I believe I'll let Bob fill us in on that. That was interesting to see all the things that are happening in public health and the funding that's coming down that we'll take our allow program. So that's what I've been doing the last few days. Okay.
Commissioner Burns.
First off, with regard to the West Chimney, I'm anticipating going to the first major bass tournament, standing up. I've never seen what it looks like.
You should enter the tournament.
No, I want to see from the shore how fast these boats are going. On. Check with the breath of PC and see if they've got a record. See how fast they're going, and I want to count how many boats go running up at the start. Then there's just a gap, but not place. And then at the end of the day, I'm just curious. I've never seen it, so I want to see what these people thought. I'm going to be doing that. At the airport meeting yesterday. At the airport meeting, we discussed there is, we have a study that needs to be done by one of the engineering firms as far as the airport expansion, airport design for instrument landings and whatnot, and we have to have a study. So we had 2 applicants, PKDA and Wiedenheim, that applied for this study. And we discussed them, looked at their qualifications. They each had a 13-page letter of intent and qualification. FAA does not allow you to look at how much it costs, it's just qualification. And then as the board has to decide who has the most qualifications. They're virtually identical companies. Really. So it's a hard one to decide. But anyways, we did that. Then we talked some about the T-hangers and building of T-hangers. We'll have, by the time we can do it, we'll have someplace in excess of $1 million. Well, FAA monies to use for that, plus the 5% that we would get from the state and our 5% share. So if we do 6 or 8 T-hangers, Brian's going to see if he can find out how much T-hangers currently are costing. So we got an idea of what we're looking at for future updates. Discuss that. And then there was some discussion as to how much rent they have to pay. Well, how much it costs to build them. It's kind of hard to say how much. Then I went to a SEMCAC meeting last night. And it was an interesting meeting as far as all the different things that are going on. In SEMCAC, there's housing, there's weatherization, there's repairs, all kinds of sections SEMCAC takes care of. They got money coming at them from all directions. So they're expanding weatherization, they're doing more things as far as these different things are concerned. But back when COVID first started, they got all this money then and they hired people to do these things. Then the COVID money ran out, so they had to let these people go. So like on the repair part of it now, they're contracting more than they're hiring. So they've got contractors that they deal with, understand the payroll requirements and all of that. And the contractors are doing the repairs and they just oversee to make sure they're done properly. New roofs, new appliances, I shouldn't say appliances, new furnaces, water heaters, water softeners, sump pumps, what have you. New windows. And the thing I found interesting is that if you have an old house and it's in tough shape, and they come and they look at it and say, okay, you don't have to live in it for a certain period of time. You can get all these improvements done and turn around and sell it out. The loans that you get, the low income loans and whatnot, or the community action grants that you get.
It depends on the program.
Right, but most of those programs, you gotta stay in the house for a certain period of time, to go pay back the money. This is not. So I found that kind of interesting as far as that. And then they have growth in the food program. in Winona, the facility that they have in Winona, I think they make something like 27,000 frozen dinners that they deliver out. This is through the course of the year now, I don't think. But they're setting one up over in Cedar Everly or Mankato to take and do half of it over there so that they can split that and get deliveries done quick. They also have a ride service with a new van that they've got, but they haven't got a driver yet. So they're having trouble finding a driver. But that'll take some of the pressure off the overall counties that are being served so that they can get that. And then they have a new set of bylaws, which I'm not going to get into that. Then we go to community service that we had this morning. So the veteran service officer was there, and he told us that the VA is opening more services for Gulf War vets. That they're adding Gulf War as qualified, which means they don't have to meet so many income requirements to be covered by the VA. But it still doesn't have the Korean War vets in there, so that's kind of a strange thing. We're working on that. He's got state of Minnesota training in Mankato, but the date is to be determined. The Bonanza program that they had in lacrosse the last few years isn't going to happen this year. The lacrosse VA, is the sponsoring VA, has some issues as far as manpower, as far as capacity. With all these new rules, they're having more demand, and so not likely they're going to. So it may likely isn't going to happen. Minnesota is passing, or likely going to pass, a new benefit for VAs so that their assessed value on their homes, the non-tax portion of their homes, will go up.
Yep.
Instead
Yeah,
of,
maybe when you were back here, you talked about when we do negotiations for like the wages.
Ryan, can you mute?
and then the Preston VA has a waiting list. Their capacity right now is 54. They're 50% capacity, waiting for everybody to get licensed and all their permits and everything. And they have a 250 plus waiting list to get into the facility. So they built it with the design that they could expand, double the capacity. First, they got to get the funding to do that, which they don't have at the present time. But once they get up to 100% capacity, they'll still have 200 people looking to get in. The Veterans Court judge is retiring. So at the present time, they're looking to get another judge to do that. They haven't found one yet. Take on the Veteran Service Court. As far as public health, they have additional funding. They've been giving a fair amount of money also, but it's all dedicated to certain things. As far as the cannabis regulations, the Senate and the legislature, I could say, at Minnesota are still working on that. So that's a work in progress. As far as the cannabis bills are concerned, there's not much can be said about that till they come up with it. As far as there's questions on how to fill some of the gaps with all this money that they're receiving, and part of it is going to go towards long-term planning, strategic planning for the next 5 years, so that they have somebody that can assist in planning and knows where this money can be spent. And they'll be adding staff with some of this money to meet the requirements that the money has put on it. John will be coming to us with that information.
So we're going to add staff for that.
It's not something that's going to affect our levy because it's the monies that we receive. That specifically has to be used for something that we don't have the staffing to do. So we're going to likely add staff to do that. We're also going to use some of this, like CDC has some money that has to be spent by 27. Can't add staff, but $78,000 can't add staff. I mean, that's a half staff, and it has to be spent by 27. Well, it's done in half a year. So that is gonna be for consulting, looking to what can be done. There is the dental collaborative. It's an interesting thing. We had that dental program where one day a month that came in with a trailer and did kids dental. The Delta Dental is impressed with how that is going. And it's going to go join Houston County in the pilot program, where the medical assistants and underinsured individuals in Houston County would have the opportunity to go to local dentists and get their dental work done. Now, all of the providers, virtually all the providers, be it Delta Dental, Blue Cross, United, all of they're partnering on this, and it goes into November to show what it would mean. The state of Minnesota would pay additional dollars for dental care for the long-term health of the people that are on medical assistance in low income. So it's an aggressive program, an interesting program. And they're also adding a second day for dental services on that trailer bus that comes down. But the pilot program is with all the dental providers in Houston County. They like Houston County because we're a small county, so it's kind of on a small scale that you can build up in the short time. Here's what it meant to Houston County. Boom, here's what it's going to mean to the state. So,
George's done a good job with that.
okay. And it's coming along very well. As far as the Meyer building is concerned, there's money, like we know, there's $300,000 available. And they're looking at, they're going to engineer and look at what can be done to make improvements to that building to provide for the needs of the county and use some of these dollars appropriately.
Didn't we do that last time when we had collaborative design, look at that?
And that's, they're upgrading that, updating you. Because that was, they looked at it without knowing what these dollars had to do with the limitations. It's going to be more so in line with what's done with the dollars we have, trying to use them so we don't send them back to Fillmore.
Well, back to the state, but I mean,
If we don't
we
use
won't
it,
use it, Fillmore County did have something that they could use it for.
right, before it goes to the state, it goes to Fillmore, we can
Yep.
collaborating.
They said they had,
So they've got places, but we're looking to make sure that we don't have places first. And of course, everybody's watching the marijuana bills and the mental health bills, but part of the mental health bills is like the priority admissions and 48-hour rule. But it's all in the legislature, so you gotta wait for that to come to fruition. And that's all I have to say.
I have to ask a question about that property tax thing.
Yep.
That's what, how is that again?
If, you got your property tax based on your assessed valuation.
Yeah.
So take your house, the first 300,000 is not taxed. So whatever the value is over that, it's subject to real estate tax.
So they have to pay it? I thought they didn't have to pay.
Based on income levels and whatnot, there is a reduction, not a reduction, a credit for not having to pay in the real estate taxes on the first $300,000 in value. They're looking to raise it to 400,000.
Okay.
So there's an income level, and the vets don't get it 100%. Don't have to pay real estate taxes. First 300,000, that's moving to 400,000.
So they're getting more of a benefit. Okay.
It's increased.
Right.
I'm not gonna talk about the barrier, so. I don't need to.
Okay.
That's not for me.
Commissioner Show.
All right. Last Friday, Eric and I were in for the certification from the primary party election.
Board of Canvas.
Yeah, and, Polly reported that everything went smoothly. In addition to that, it's township election day today, so he's busy with that. Dave Walters from River Soil talked a little bit about, he's been working on the boat canoe launch grant down in the Boca area that running into a little bit of snag with some terminology between DNR land and county and state land that he's still working through. Amelia would like to maybe set up at one of our future work group sessions, an hour to hour and a half, to have Nicole Lehman from the DNR give us a short brief on shoreland training. So that might be coming.
Yeah.
Sounded like something good for us.
Shoreland rules.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, so like when we get, I've got constituents calling about the shoreland rule and how that affects their building projects, so. It'd be nice to have a little
Be beneficial.
education on that, so we know what we're talking about, so when we talk to their constituents, we can say, well, here's the deal, you know, this is how it works, you know. Because it's very complicated, and it does throw a wrench into some people's plans about how they wanna do so.
The shoreland, like the Mississippi River shore, the Wood River shore, any other creek shore. We talked about.
It's more like tributaries, like creeks and public creeks, public waters. I'm not so sure about it. The river is part of that. I assume it is, you know, in Mississippi.
I think it'd be beneficial. Land Shark should be updated and hopefully online, they thought on the 23rd of next month. They had a couple of zoning issues they're working through, nothing really brought out here. DOT projects, they had quite a bit to talk about with the roundabout meeting they had in Caledonia. I guess more to come there. MnDOT's looking at resurfacing with Crescent. Imagine Dewey knows a little bit about that.
Resurfacing?
Yeah, from right through the stoplights to just south of the stoplights, and Brian had some updates that Crescent's looking at a lot of lane changes that they
Oh,
want to
yeah,
do,
that-
and a lot of work to do there, but ultimately it'll come back to us for approval the way it sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna get to have some input on some like for the bike lanes and truck or turn lanes and stuff like that.
And that's slotted for 2027.
it's a mess.
Yeah, there's more to come on that, so yeah. And then I guess they're looking at a dog park down by close to the recycling center that they had a couple little issues in zoning about, so more to come there the way so.
Yep.
Big enough area to do it. It has to be
Pretty tight.
filled in. I thought I reported on a couple meetings ago that
You'd
they're
have to-
looking at it, where it is. They're filling the ravine. Yeah.
They'd have to
And,
extend the culvert the way it sounded, and then they'd have to do some filling, and then you got some wetland issues, so I think they got some loopholes to.
They have to go through, I mean, they got $20,000 in extending the pipe and.
More to come.
More to come, exactly. A lot of talk and no money behind it.
Yeah, and then Dewey and I are having a jail committee meeting after this meeting over at the sheriff's office, so maybe we'll have an update there. I think so. Meeting mornings. So. That's all.
Well, I guess Wildcat Dewey talked about, the airport Bob talked about. I really ain't got nothing else. I wanna congratulate Allison on her job fair. I heard it was a hit. People come from all over.
I was there at the break time, but there were still people milling around, but. Had a lot of representation of businesses, that's for sure. Quite good.
I think we had 27 businesses.
Couple of them.
But it was well attended and.
Yeah.
Good positive feedback, and so good job.
Said a lot of Northern Engraving people were over there getting, like, signed up for jobs, so that's a good thing. I guess that's all I got.
Okay. Any closing comment? Public comment? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.